Hi, it is day 3 of homeschooling lockdown 3.0. Um, phew, I am tired. I'm so glad it is Friday. Um, yeah, made it through. We're good. Haven't been outside for a few days, but I'm not mad because it is cold, so I feel no way. Um, we've had a really good day. Yeah, it's been a good day. Got through the work. He's done really well today, and there were a few things that I was just like, how am I going to explain this to him? How am I going to make him understand some of these maths sums? Maths is not my strongest subject. Um, this morning, so each day, Elijah has a registration. So there's a Zoom meeting with his class, and he goes on at like 9 o'clock. So the whole class and the teacher is on Zoom. And she kind of just, greets children, briefly goes through what work is available on Seesaw for the day. And then, some of the kids kind of like talk about what they did in the evening or a bit of a, but it's only 10 minutes, like literally. And I do kind of feel like it could be longer. I also feel as though they could, just maybe 2 or 3 times a week, have the class together for about an hour or so, just to go over some of the work, and ensure that, not only the kids, but the parents too, are getting along with the work. That's just me. And I can appreciate, obviously, teachers are really under a lot of pressure, and a lot of stress equally. So, I suppose it all just comes, we all have to work together, really. And maybe, I don't know, I think I felt this week like, well, since last year when the first lockdown happened, I just felt, well, why are other places doing, full teaching online, but we aren't, When I say other places, I mean other countries. Recently, looking online, and in some of the groups I'm in on Facebook, there are schools that are doing, days teaching online. So I don't know, maybe it is that, they've had to put teachers where they're needed, and where possible. So, yeah, I can, I'm on the fence with it. But as I said, today was a good day. He missed his registration today. Came downstairs at about, I don't know, 5 to 9, saying, "Oh, mummy, can I wear this t-shirt?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course, Jamaican t-shirt, go for it." Tell me why the boy came back downstairs at like 11 minutes past 9. "Okay, I'm ready now." This time Zoom meeting's done. So I don't know what he was thinking. But yeah, he was just upstairs prettying up himself, for this Zoom meeting, and just missed it all. So that was his morning. Yeah, so that was a little giggle this morning. Food in the house. Oh my gosh. Like, just like the first lockdown, this boy is eating me out of house and home. I've given him choices. So, when I send him go to school, he will have his sandwiches, and I put fruit and, biscuits and crisps and yogurt, and he's got all of that in the cupboards. But He's a boy. He see it. He wants to eat all of it. All of it. I'm like, we're going to go back to school day. You know, you have your breakfast in the morning. You have your little snack between like about 11 o'clock. And then lunchtime, you either make your sandwich, have your patty, or boil some pasta. And right now he's on the patties, and the patty soon done. So it'll be sandwiches or pasta next week, because I really don't like shopping, and I won't be shopping for, you know, the next couple of weeks. Well, I'll go not next week, week after. But yeah, so he is just eating, and he's not a small boy, in that he's not short. He is a tall boy. He's growing. He is growing. So yeah, the food is just, when I cook, he cleans his plate, which is good. But then always afterwards is, "Mummy, can I have something?" That's all I hear all day. "Mummy, can I have something?" But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Another thing that happened today. So obviously, laptop is gone to laptop heaven, and contacted the school, and they called me today, and they spoke to the head teacher, and she said, you know, yeah, that's not a problem. She can organise one for me. And then she said, actually, we can offer Elijah a space to come to school. And I don't know, I just got so emotional when I was speaking to her on the phone. I could feel my eyes welling up. And the thing is, in a group I'm in, I said, you know, oh gosh, you know, if they said, oh, Elijah could go to school, he's going, you know. And I don't know whether I was being funny or trying to be, or, you know, I genuinely wanted that. But I just got so emotional about, you know, just thinking about sending him to school. And I really had to kind of rush off the phone, because I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to cry, and I do not want this woman to hear it. And I called my mum straight away. And I just felt trapped, I suppose. Like, here we are in the pandemic, in the middle of a pandemic. They're opening schools, they're closing schools, they're opening schools, they're closing schools. And, you know, apparently we've got this new strain, and it's, you know, they're saying, oh, children are carriers, teachers are going off sick, the NHS is under pressure. And why am I sending my child to school? Now, don't get me wrong. I understand there are those that are key workers, or critical workers, as they're calling them now. And I get that they are sending their kids to school. However, I also know that there are vulnerable children who need to go to school. But my child comes from a home where it's safe. He's in a home where I work from home. And I'm fortunate to work for a company that doesn't need me tied to my desk. It is a very family orientated company, and my managers are very supportive. They are in the same positions as me with their kids. However, I just felt like, by me to even consider sending him back to school, when this pandemic is supposed to be, this new strain, this tier 4 and pending tier 5 is supposed to be so bad, they have to close everything down. And it just, I'm just not prepared to send him. I'm really not prepared to do that. The other thing I think of, and it's not to, I don't want to sound bad, but again, if kids are carrying this, well, obviously he would have passed it on to myself or my mum, ages ago. But I do also worry about children of critical workers who are providing a service to the public, or working on COVID wards, and they're coming home to their kids. What are they passing on? And I just don't want my child to be amongst that. I'm sorry. And it's not to look down on anybody. That is just my concern. If this virus is that bad, then we need to ensure that those children are in a bubble. Teachers as well, because they're at risk. They are at risk, no matter how much we want to, oh God, open the schools back, and it's stressful at home and whatnot, but our teachers are at risk, and I'm just not prepared to put my child in that, so yeah, I spoke to mum, and she's always a great person to speak to. I really appreciate that I do have her to be that voice of reason for me, especially when making decisions. But yeah, it just really kind of touched me differently, thinking about sending him to school. And I sat him down, and because I know he loves school. Elijah absolutely loves school. And I think that's what I was battling with more when it came to making a decision. I know he loves school. I know he loves, playing with his friends. But I sat him down and I spoke to him, and I said, you know what? I said, his teacher, I said, your head teacher spoke to me today, and she has a space available for you to go to school. But, mummy doesn't feel good in herself sending you. And he said, actually, I don't feel good about going myself, mummy. And honestly, I just felt like, yes, I've done something right. He agreed with me, and in that moment, he was happy not to go to school. He said he felt safer at home. And, I said, I said, I know sometimes, mummy hasn't got patience, and he does find some of the work a bit difficult, but we will get through. We got through it before, so we will get through it again. He has tutoring on a Wednesday and a Saturday, and he's come leaps and bounds. And the fact is, he's not a child that isn't smart. Far from it. In fact, for those of you who actually know Elijah, know how intelligent he really is. They put him on the SENS list few years back now, And, you know, I've had teachers kind of react in a way of, oh, you know, yeah, he's learning and he's this and he's that. And to me, he's a boy. You know, he gets super excited about things that he is passionate about. And, but when he puts his mind to something, he just excels. And I'm not being biased. If I'm being biased, then so be it, I'm biased. But he has really truly come leaps and bounds over these years, you know. And I've had to battle with school when he was at nursery, and at school when he started school in London. I had to battle with them, you know, them trying to label him, and label him without getting or giving proper help, or you know, kind of saying, okay, Miss Nelson, we're going to bring so and so in to assess Elijah, you know, through nursery and reception. No one did that. With Elijah, he loves structure. He likes consistency, and he just likes to know what's next. And the way, and what saddened me the most is the nursery he went to was owned by a black woman. And, you know, his room leaders were excellent, absolutely excellent, because they worked with him so well. But the owner of that nursery was just adamant, you know, oh, there's something wrong with him. And we always, you know, we just didn't see eye to eye. And I was kind of glad. I didn't want to take him out because I didn't want him to I didn't want him to lose that bond he had formed with his room leaders. And she wasn't one of them. So, you know, I knew he was safe in their care. And then when he started reception, again, another school with a black head teacher, predominantly black teachers throughout the school. And I just felt as though they failed my child, because, you know, when you're going through that school process and they, you know, come to your home and they get to know you and your child for about an hour or so. And I'm a person, I'm very honest about my child. He is very smart, and if he can see that he can get one over you, he's going to do it, especially when he was younger. That's, you know, that's the kind of mind he had. And I said to them, you know, these are kind of tools that I use to deal with Elijah. And I don't like the word deal, actually. I can't find another word. But I used to use a timer, so that, you know, when he was doing an activity and it was coming to an end, I would set the timer and I said, right, when the egg timer finishes, what time is it? And he's like, it's time to go, you know, do something else, or brush your teeth, time to get ready for bed. So that's how we, that's how I did things with him. And I explained to his teachers, and yet she didn't use any of it, you know. So if he was doing something in class that he enjoyed, and she, you know, clapped her hands and said, right, time to pack away, he's just like, well, no, where's the timer, you know. And yeah, my child threw tantrums. I am gonna hold my hands up now and say, from the age of about 2, he threw tantrums. And obviously, you know, culturally, as black people. That doesn't happen. For a long time, for a long period, I didn't know how to deal with it. It's not that I ignored it. I just didn't know, like, in my head, I was just like, what's happening with this? I know exactly when he picked it up. He saw another child doing it. And thankfully, that period is long gone. But yeah, it was hard, and when you when you put your child in somebody else's care and you tell them how to deal with your child and they don't take on board what you're telling them, and then they then turn round and want to label your child as being, autistic, or has a speech problem, or all these kinds of things. And these are teachers that have worked in the field for years, and yet all of them were incorrect. When we moved to Basingstoke, I spoke to the teacher, gave her tips, and she followed them. There was a little teething problem. And straight away they brought people in to assess Elijah, to work with him. And in the end, they said, he's fine. He just likes structure. He just likes to know what's happening next. And I'm that kind of mum that I talk to my son. In our culture, that's something that's not really done. But I felt that it was important that I have that, bond with him, and that I'm able to go to him and he's able to come to me about anything. And thankfully, he's just excelled since then. He's excelled. So I'm going to leave it there. Just some food for thought. There is 2 parts to this video. But yeah, any questions or any advice, please do contact me. And yeah, I will be back next week, Monday, with the next episode. Have a lovely weekend, and yeah, see you next week. Bye.